everybody. Welcome
Hi.
to the first break, your mandatory break for the Storytellers Hearth weekend relay. Ignore any children you hear or see in the background. I just can't get rid of them. I've tried. It doesn't work. Hello, Shannon. Hi. Something mystery. Hello. How is it doing? See all here. Yeah. It was here and then she ran past. And now she's just going to purposely
Bye-bye.
Be a weirdo for the next hour or so.
Yeah.
There we go. See you later, you weirdo. Cool gamer. Hello, how are you? How has everybody's weekend been going so far? What have we been working on? What have we managed to get done? Probably a lot more than I have.
Yes, because you've been playing The Sims and watching YouTube too much.
Have I? I'm not watching YouTube.
Yes.
Well, yeah, YouTube, because I'm watching the stream. That's the YouTube I'm watching.
What?
Yeah, the YouTube I've been watching is the people streaming and doing.
I don't want to listen.
Oh my god, you absolute weirdo! Hi. So, Annika, what have you been working on this weekend?
I've been writing for the last stream, and during what was my middle of the night, I tried to stay awake and didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah, same. I've been trying to do some writing. I don't know what it is. Like, I just don't have a lot of motivation at the moment, which sucks. So I've been trying to get as much done with the little motivation that I have had. Sometimes it works. Sometimes I don't get much more done than a couple of sentences, but any progress, I guess, is progress. At least I'm getting something done. So yeah, I'm at an odd place, I think, with all of my projects.
Yeah, I'm currently updating my Google Sheets as we speak, and I have written 7 sprints in total, so it's approximately like 3.5 hours of active, not the whole time active writing, but yeah, because I've done a lot of other stuff during the sprints also, like taking care of myself and slept.
Yeah, self-care during the weekend, especially the Storytellers Hearth, is always a big one. Always an important one.
Yeah,
because I remember back in the day when it used to be like full on over the weekend, non-stop streams, like for the entire 48 hours, and people would just like try to be at every single stream, and we disencourage that a little bit because we need to look after ourselves.
Yeah. I'm sticking to it. Dancing.
And you're dancing. She's so loud. The second I start streaming, she's so loud because of course she is. That is my children in a nutshell. So, mandatory break. Let's get some water, get some snacks, exercise if that's something you want to do. Touch grass, get some fresh air, refill the creative well, as it were, for the next hour. I wish it was the morning. It's heading very much into the evening where I am, but she's like this basically the entire day. The jumpiness only started when I started streaming, though.
Maybe it's something to do with the camera.
Maybe. Mum's doing something. Let me interrupt. There's a camera. Let me be silly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. Somebody missed me slept for 7 hours, so I've already had my break. Fantastic. You've slept. That is good. That is what we need. I also slept, but I'm actually already still quite tired, so that's not really helpful.
Yeah, I've also slept last night, but not that well. Because like I went to sleep around maybe 5 p.m. because I was really tired.
Yeah.
I thought to myself that I would wake up for the opening ceremony and then stay awake for like maybe a part of the first stream. I barely stayed awake for the opening chat, so then I slept until like maybe 2 a.m. And
Yeah.
then after that, I didn't sleep that well.
Sucky. We'll try and
Yeah.
get some more rest today at least. There's time.
Yeah, well, I don't know at what point I'll get some rest because I'm live until 1 a.m. my time.
No.
Yeah.
Right, we
The
need to.
7th stream might have been a mistake, but I'm trying to live with it.
You'll have to, I don't know, take some naps. Coerce the host into doing some nice long sprints and then just nap.
Yeah, Shannon said
them.
we're gonna do 1 hour sprint, so I might nap during that.
It would not be the first time someone's napped during a sprint for the Storytellers Hearth weekend relay.
Yeah. It's lovely weekend, but it's also kind of tough.
It can be, yeah, especially if it's not something you're used to.
Yeah. Like, I'm not used to staying up late. So, and my prime writing time is just right when the longer break is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like between third and fourth stream today was like my prime writing time. For me, the break is from 8 a.m. till 12. And I'm a morning writer.
I wish I knew what type of writer I was. Like, I don't know whether I'm a morning writer or an evening writer. I'm more of a whenever you can walk past, whenever I find the time to writer.
Yeah.
I should experiment with that.
I usually find the time to write in the mornings, and that's when I have the most energy. So I'm a morning person in other senses too.
That does make sense. Although I have heard that writing when you're really tired helps your brain not think too much about the editing and perfection, and is quite good for just getting words down for a first draft.
Yeah, that might be true. But usually when I'm tired, I get so tired that I can hardly motivate myself to do the mandatory things. Like something like showering and brushing my teeth after school is it's hard, so I usually do it in the mornings.
Yeah, when you've got the most energy.
Yeah.
She's just standing there watching me now. I don't know why. This isn't that interesting.
You have a live audience.
You don't want to what? You don't want to go past with my camera on. You can go past with my camera on if you really want to. Hi, Kat. How are you? You just woke up from a good night's sleep, I hope, Kat. Right. As always, for the chats, we have a couple of questions for everybody. I'm giving this specifically towards motivation today for the break, mostly because I don't have any. Recently started a new job with really odd hours, so trying to resettle into some sort of routine surrounding that has been a little bit difficult, but we'll get there eventually. So everybody, do we have a writing routine that we stick to? Do you guys have steps that you like to do, ways to prepare yourself for a writing session? Are there things that you have to have ready with you to do your writing? Or do you just sit down and get some done?
I usually just sit down and write, but I usually do it in the morning, as I said. So maybe that's some kind of a routine to write before school.
Yes, but putting yourself on a bit of a schedule to get that specific part done.
Like I'm trying to start working before 9. So even on weekends, I try to start writing before 9. Because that's when my school starts on weekdays.
That's also really good, I guess, because obviously doing school, you've got a whole focus for your brain on something else other than being super creative and writing. And I know that after a full day of work or school, your brain and your body are just like, no, I don't want to do anything else.
Yeah, and I study art, so I use up my whole creative energy during the school day.
Yeah. Oh no, I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's sometimes kind of rough.
You never think of it that way, like absorbing too much of some other form of creativity sort of doesn't really help refill your creative well. That can actually drain it.
Yeah, until a point. There's a point that after the point, it's just draining the well. But before that point, it actually fills your cup. At least for me.
I suppose, yeah, too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
Is never a good thing.
Too much of anything is never a good thing.
That is true. Jessica Berry, hello, how are you? What games are we playing, Jessica Berry? I'm intrigued to know. And it will be fun to know if I've heard of it. Because a gamer person, I am not. Need to have some sort of ambience pulled up or I can't write. I normally use my Spirit City game, but I've also used YouTube ambience videos too. What type of ambience do you use? Is it like, I don't know, rain noises or those videos where it's, I don't know, like in a fantasy forest or like a haunted castle or something like that? Or is it more like an ASMR type ambience in the background? Some deep mystery. Only routine is writing in the morning. Usually make a cup of coffee or tea first, but sometimes I get distracted by chores or something else, but I try to follow that routine. Yeah, I always try to like create some sort of routine or schedule in regards to writing and sticking to that. My ADHD doesn't quite let me do it though, unfortunately. Doesn't like schedules.
Yeah, ADHD says to bash all the routines.
Yeah. Autism wants the routine. The ADHD does not care for it.
Yeah, and when you have both, it's a struggle.
The ADHD always wins. Like the autism will plan, the ADHD will win every single time. Jocelyn, hello, good morning, afternoon, time zones, wherever you are. How are you doing today?
For me, it's 50-50 on which one wins.
Yeah. Does it just depend on what you've got going on that day or?
Yeah, and what I've got going on the previous day. Like, if the previous day has been overwhelming, then autism is more likely to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100% get that. My ADHD is very much, I'll be out and about thinking, oh, when I get home, I'll do this, I can do this. Let me think of all of the fun things and plots and stuff to do for all my work. And then when it comes to sit down to do those things that I've been super excited about, I'm just like, I feel like I thought about it too much. And now that it's come time to do it, it's like, yeah, but the excitement of it is gone now because you've sort of experienced the excitement in your head. And now there's no point in doing it because that excitement is not going to come back.
That's part of the reason why I don't really plan my stories. Because, like, if I have a really good plan, then what's the point of writing it? It's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
Although maybe I should have a plan.
See, I'm always in that weird spot where I start really, really trying to do a really good outline and plan. My ADHD gets bored and just starts writing because it wants that discovery. But then coming to then rereading, redrafting, and editing that first draft, it's such an absolute mess because I didn't have an outline. I'm like, oh, okay, so let me try and outline properly before I start the second draft. But then I'm like, oh, but I've done all of the discovery now and there's nothing fun about writing it because I've planned it all too well and I can never find the middle ground that suits me perfectly.
Yeah. I really enjoy repeating same things. Like, recently I have, for like a couple of years, I have really enjoyed writing the same story multiple times.
Yeah.
I think that's got something to do with my autism and the need for familiarity.
Yes.
But, like, but if I have a plan, then what's the point of writing it? But if I have written it already, then it's fun to write it a second time.
Yeah. It's always, it depends on the project. It's a fine line between trying to please both autism and ADHD in order to be able to get a decent amount of work done. I'll have to sort of figure out some way to be like, right, am I more in the mood to do whatever I want and explore some creativity? Or am I in the mood to do something a bit more structured? And then sort of finagle some sort of, right, so if I have a very basic plan for a chapter, write whatever I want to in that chapter. And then when I'm in the mood to do something more structured, come back to that and make it make sense for the story. But then my ADHD goes, but that's hard work and we don't like to do that.
I have found the fine line between those two things, like need for familiarity and need for new things. Because, like, when I write the first draft, it usually, especially in the end, there's not a whole lot of stuff written. Like, it's only the bare bones of the story in the end, because I lose motivation. But then when I draft it the second time, I add a lot of stuff there.
Yeah. I wish I was the type of writer who had like a set way of writing. But the way I write changes with every single project I do.
Yeah,
which is also a bit frustrating.
I think I haven't yet found my way of writing.
Something always works for a little bit, but then my brain comes up with something that might also work better, and I want to try that out. Brains, they're not helpful. Jessica, depends on the story. Okay, some cafe, usually rain sounds. Sometimes it's train ambience. That's a new one that I've not heard of. Or the sound of a creek. Yeah, just whatever the brain associates with the story. I like that. Some deep mystery, like the idea of routines, but it's too easy to break them with the ADHD because habits don't take well. Yes, this is my whole issue. It always starts off really well because it's something that routine is, or that habit is a shiny new thing. But then over the course of like a couple of weeks, I'm like, and now I'm bored with this routine, or I'm bored with this habit. And I find something else nice and shiny to try and do. And
the same thing with the stories I write. Like, I love writing new beginnings of stories, and then just a few of them stick. Because I have a new idea, I want to write it, and the second I get it, and then I never touch it again.
This is why I have so many different novels, and this is why I have so many different first drafts, and why I never managed to work on a story long enough to get it into like a really, really decent place in order to like query it or get it published. Because my brain comes up with a different idea and they're like, oh yes, let's work on this new idea instead of continuing the work on everything else.
Yeah. I think it was on the last stream, but it might have been this one also. But on some stream today, I said that I'm working on multiple projects, but only focusing on one at a time. It's like when I have multiple projects, I have always a new shiny thing to focus on when my motivation runs low with the current one.
Yeah, that's usually how I liked to work. So it's why I always prefer having my writing in different stages if I can as well. Because if I'm just doing 3 different novels, for example, but they're all in the drafting stage, I don't get bored of the novels. I get bored of drafting. So I always need to try and think, right, so this novel I'm currently doing the first draft of. This one I am re-outlining. This one I'm starting to do edits on. So it's not just a different story with a different set of characters. It's also something like a different process. So my mind doesn't just get bored that way as well, which is also a difficult thing to maintain. Hello, child. Hello. Jocelyn, routines can be mega helpful, but life happens and adjustments have to be made. That is also one of my issues. Because if I set myself a routine and something in life happens and then I miss that routine or something goes wrong with that routine.
Yeah, if you miss one day, the whole thing just goes out of the window.
Well, I missed it yesterday, so what's the point in carrying on? Or life gets in the way and it's like, I haven't been able to do that today. I suck. This is awful. And then it just puts me off.
You forget or can't do it once, and then you never do it again. Because, I skipped yesterday, so I can skip today also. Like, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, but then you don't do it tomorrow. Because after a couple of days of not doing it, it's not a routine and it's not a habit anymore.
Tomorrow never comes.
No, it does not. It really doesn't. I'm always looking at new ways to craft a story, procrastination via learning. Yes. Feels like I'm always working on writing, but I'm not actually writing anything. You're in my head, some deep mystery. That's precisely it. If I lose motivation, I always try and find something new to inspire me to get motivated. So I feel like I'm working on writing, but I'm not doing any actual writing progress because I'm sort of coming up with new ways to do the writing rather than actually doing the writing.
When I need to procrastinate but feel like I'm doing something, I usually just plan what I'm gonna write. Like, I make lists of the things that happen in my story, even if they're in a document. I write them by hand, and I use my time to write them again and again and again, and never
Yeah.
in the actual story.
Oftentimes the workday is strenuous and my creativity suffers. That, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm always like, I always try to be like, right, so after work, if I set myself a 10-minute timer and just focus for 10 minutes on wanting to write, I'll write a couple of sentences just so I feel like I've done some work. But trying to find the best time, trying to plan the best time, I think, around a work day to do writing, for me at least, as much as I'd love to plan, I can't, because a lot of me wanting to do writing depends largely on how I'm feeling. And it's not just, oh, I'm inspired or oh, I'm motivated. It's always like, oh, it's been a long day. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm overstimulated or a little bit anxious or a little bit stressed or overwhelmed with something.
Yeah.
But then not writing like I want to often adds to all of that as well, which just makes it worse.
Mm.
And it starts piling up until you've got too many things to do. And you've got so many things to do. You don't know where to start. You don't want to start. You want to put it away because the thought of it is stressing you out too much to do anything.
It's like cleaning. Like, usually what happens for me is when I put stuff on my desk and never clean it, then there's huge pile of stuff and I don't want to start because I don't know where to start.
Yes. Or you get, that thing where you look at something and suddenly you're like, let me clean this. But it delves so much further into, let me just pick up a few pieces and put them away. Your brain instantly goes into deep clean mode.
Yeah.
And you take everything off and you've got a massive pile of stuff and you're like, yeah, I'm going to clean all this. And you get halfway through and it's like, oh, okay.
And the mess is worse than when you started.
It's worse than when you started. And now you're like, now I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And you just make it worse for yourself. It is the ADHD. And I hate it. I hate it so much. I try to work with it. I try, I fail. I need to get together all of the ADHD and autistic writers. I need to bring everybody together. And we need to just have a massive chat about it. And everyone can sort of pull in what works for them, what doesn't work for them. And like, we all just need to experiment with each other's ways of coping to see if we can come up with, to see if that works. I'm saying that now. I'm saying it. I won't do it. I should do it.
Yeah. I like the idea of trying other people's writing routines, but I'm too lazy. Not lazy, but too unmotivated to do the research that goes into it.
See, as exciting as it would be to get, I'd be up for that, panel. As exciting as it would be to learn how other ADHD and autistic writers cope with everything, it'd be like, but that sounds like a really, really fun idea to try.
And you never do it.
And I won't try. Because it would be fun. Like, ADHD Author Squad. Yes. Guys, any autistic or ADHD or ADHD writers, we're all in the Discord. Let me know. We'll put together a group. I don't know. I mean, even just chatting and ranting and about the issues, like, that might get me motivated to do something as well, to be fair.
Yeah, and I think putting together a Discord channel for ADHD or autistic or ADHD writers would be also a good way to find someone you relate to.
Yeah. I see, and now my brain's running a mile a minute, and I'm like, right, monthly chats with these types of writers, and this is what I do, or this is what I've heard, or a new person each week to chat to live about their issues and what they damn it.
Or maybe just let's start small and make a Discord group.
My ADHD does not start small.
Yeah.
It
Mine
goes
either.
all in, makes too many plans, and then follows through on absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Sam, I'm really sorry for planning outside stuff during the weekend relay. That's not what this is for. Okay, let's move on. You okay? My child hurt themselves. They're fine. But speaking of, because that segues perfectly into this. Andrea, hello. Listen, if I'm on stream, at some point I will mention something to do with my ADHD and how much it hates me trying to write. So always the right moment for ADHD. What have you got in your... I don't want to know what you've got in your mouth.
It's Kitty Fairy.
It's Kitty Fairy. Well, the camera's here. So if you want to show them something...
See? Kitty Fairy.
Don't put it near me. It's been in your mouth. Speaking of ADHD and autism. Right. So again, specifically because I am having a lot of issues being stuck for some reason with every single thing I'm working on. Do you have any top tips or any tricks that you have tried in the past that you have heard about to help you get unstuck with your writing?
Well, I might have 2 tips. Like, this first one isn't necessarily related to writing, but my teacher always says to think with a pen. Like, for example, when I'm at school and we need to start a new project, she says to start thinking with a pen or a pencil. And my other tip would be to just force yourself to do it. Like, many times when I'm unmotivated, or like I feel like I want to write but I don't know what to write, I feel stuck, I just sit my ass down and decide I'm gonna stare at this document for like 2 minutes, and then if I start writing, I start writing. If I don't, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Like setting a smaller goal. Like, I don't have to write for an hour. I just have to open the document, or I just have to stare at it for 2 minutes.
Yeah. I've tried so many things over the years. Like, I've been writing since I was like 15 years old, and I've been on what?
Wow.
See, now you've distracted me and I forgot what I was going to say.
You said you've been writing since you were 15 years old.
Oh, I know that, but then I forgot what I was going to say afterwards. Added your ladder plot method into a merging of plotting methods. Looks like it works. Oh, you've messaged me about that, Kat. I haven't taken a look at it, but I will take a look at it today. Always a good moment to talk about our brains, those motherfuckers. Yeah. Why do they hate us so much? I don't understand. Your little girl's so yes, she's so funny. She's funny at the incorrect times is when she's funny. Right, let me reset my brain. I said I've tried many things over the years. Forcing myself to write. Absolutely used to try that when I was younger. Back in the, no, that just makes me sound old. I used to try that back when I first started writing. Don't give away how old I am, it's fine. over the years, forcing myself to write works less and less for me, mostly because the more I did it, the more I found, or I felt like it sort of sucked the fun out of it for me. Because if I'm sitting there forcing myself to do something I don't want to do, I was sort of associating writing with something negative. Is why I stopped checking my word counts when I was doing writing sprints, because I associated word count with progress. And if I didn't get a high word count, I did not do a good job. But I do still set myself a timer just to look at my work. And if I do something, I do something. If I don't do something, I don't do something. But I've given myself the time to try to do something, which feels a little bit like progress. So many things I've had to unlearn over the years.
Yeah.
I find that talking out loud is a very, very good way for me to get unstuck. If I'm having a specific issue with what needs to happen next, or I'm trying to outline and think through a plot point or a subplot, talking about it out loud, even if it's just to myself, the idea just comes to me and I'm like, oh, there we go. And then I can use that and write it down and work off of it. So that's the fun one for me. And then one I've recently started doing is writing non-chronologically. And I feel like somehow the way I write non-chronologically is not helping me much with progress. I'll explain. So I used to always get to a point in the story where I was having a really, really good time. I'd get to a chapter that was maybe a little more boring than the previous chapters, and I'd get stuck on that boring chapter. And then I wouldn't progress for ages. Or I'd get stuck on a really difficult part of a chapter, like an action scene, and I just couldn't force myself to go forward. And because I'm writing chronologically, if I don't write this, I can't then move on. Until one day I was just like, you know what, let me just move on. Let me come back to that later. And then that led me to, if I get stuck on one part, I'll just move on to the next chapter and I'll continue writing and then I'll go back, which then led me to picking my chapters out of a box and just writing whatever chapter I picked. And then, because that way it presented it as a challenge to my ADHD brain, and it likes a challenge and doesn't like to fail a challenge. But now that's stemmed into, I write my chapters non-chronologically as well. I don't write from beginning to end of a chapter. I'll write a little bit at the beginning and then skip, if it gets too difficult, to a different part of the scene or the chapter. And then I fill in all of the middle bits. And now I have difficulty writing and finishing a chapter because my brain is so used to, oh, my brain has stopped working for this. Let me move on to something else. It's gotten too used to skipping the difficult bits. So now I'm having trouble doing all of the chapter.
Yeah.
Which is really frustrating.
I think for me, the forcing myself to write doesn't work on first drafts, because I kind of need inspiration for that.
Yeah.
But if I have the previous draft that I can just follow, then I can just look at that and write the same thing basically again.
Yeah, you've got the foundation. The hard work's taken out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
In that respect, because you've got the instructions. You just need to make it a little bit clearer. Yeah. Write different parts of the story, set a small timer or small goals, like one sentence, reread what I've already written, watch and consume things related to my story or the things that inspired it. Yes. I have done / do all of those things. Something else I do is something I like to call scenes that won't be seen. which I also use sometimes to explore my characters a little bit more. So like if the story is like a one POV and we hear about something that happens to other characters, like I'll write separately what has happened to those characters from another point of view. One, because it's helping to be a little bit creative. Two, it helps me explore the characters outside of like the general plot of the story and outside of this one main character's point of view. And it also sort of, even though it's nothing to do with the actual story progress itself, it helps inspire like more thoughts about the work or about the world I'm writing in. And sometimes that can help me go, oh, right, so now I've got sort of this backstory for why these characters are behaving in this way in this scene. So I can use that knowledge and sort of use it to create more tension, or their actions is something that I can have my character focus on during that scene, and then I can expand on it that way. That's also fun. You can also write a Some deep mystery. Are we sharing a brain right now? I feel like we're sharing a brain. Different characters at a different time or in a different place. Yes. Andrea trained my brain with a specific playlist, at least the first 3 songs. So when I'm listening, I go into writing mode easier than without the playlist. Is not a miracle. I ADHD'd with my playlists a very long time ago. And I spent hours curating specific playlists to listen to specifically with certain novels. And sometimes listening to them does inspire me to work on those novels. It works less and less though, unfortunately.
I usually listen to the same playlist no matter what I'm writing, because I like the predictability. Like I like knowing what song comes next, and it also helps me tune out the music, so I don't focus that much on the words.
See, I used to have a massive issue where I could not write to anything with words because the words would distract me. I've gone over that now, and I can listen to stuff with words and it won't distract me anymore. But it does have to be, like you said, a playlist where I know what songs come next. So my brain isn't like, oh, this song, these lyrics. Like my brain is just like, yeah, this song's next. You're fine. You know what it is. Just continue writing.
Yeah, I almost never have the problem with like the song lyrics mixing up with what I'm writing, because I've said it before, like last summer or something, that because I write in Finnish and listen to music in English, they don't like mix that badly.
Yeah.
So
no, that is
I can
a good point.
like tune out the English words and focus on the Finnish ones.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I never thought of that actually. Don't write down research songs in different languages, Sarah. Don't do it, because you're going to get caught up in doing that. And I used to get distracted. I'd hear my favorite part of a song come up, and then I'd just stop doing the writing and I'd start just jamming out to the music instead.
Yeah.
Action scenes can be I hate action scenes so much. I don't know why I put them in my novels. Writing alternate POVs, yes. Write the scene from the guy in the corner's POV. Jessica usually makes a new playlist for whatever I'm writing because the music inspires me and helps me continue on in a story. Look, creating playlists is actually the reason I listen to so many different artists now. Like, not in general, But listening to a playlist gives me lots of different artists to listen to and explore, rather than like the 6 or 7 that I typically always listen to when I'm doing writing. And then all of the songs I have are specifically curated by vibe and lyrics to fit with the story itself, which takes a lot of work to do, because I need to like what the song sounds like, and then I need to like, oh, these lyrics fit this character or this scene or this vibe or the theme of the actual story, which just makes it a little bit more difficult. But it's fun to go down that rabbit hole
I used to make
sometimes.
playlists for my different characters, like the main characters of the stories. But then I got too caught up in finding the perfect songs for the characters.
Yeah, it's I always do like to say anything that I do that is related to writing is making progress on my writing. It's not, it just helps me feel better. So sometimes I will, I'm feeling really demotivated, let me do a mood board for this story and see if that inspires me, or let me find face claims or stuff like that. And I'm like, and that's writing, because I'm working some way on my novel. I'm not, but I'm working on ways to get inspired, I guess, which same thing.
Yeah, and
ish.
it's important to feel good while working on your project. So if that helps, if doing something else than writing helps you feel good about your project, then I think it's worth it.
Yeah. But yeah, the ADHD will let you focus on it for a bit too long, which doesn't help. But sometimes it's okay to follow the ADHD, no matter where it leads you.
Sometimes the ADHD leads into writing for 24 hours.
Yeah. Or it leads to, I'm sitting here and I know I really need to go to the toilet and I really need to drink something and I really need to eat because I haven't in 7 hours. But also, if I get up to do anything else, I'm not going to come back to what I'm currently doing, and I'm in the zone and I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, or you forget you have the human body that you have and that needs food and going to the toilet and sleep and stuff.
Yeah, and you're feeling crap and you don't know why, but it's because you haven't drank anything or eaten anything.
You just don't realize that you haven't done the human things.
Yes. It'll be okay. We'll make it work somehow. Can't draft or do deep revisions, rewrites while listening to songs with lyrics, so I haven't tried using a well-known playlist. If I listen to a playlist enough to the point where my brain instantly knows what song is coming next, I can use it. If it's a rather new playlist, I can't, because my brain will focus too much on it. It's got to be the right type of playlist. I've got to know it well enough to be able to ignore it while also having it inspire me.
Yeah.
Official soundtracks for Knives Out for writing, Ghost in the Shell for reading. After the first 3 or so melodies, I don't pay attention anymore. Yeah, it's like it runs in the background for you. It's like any ADHD who drives. I always find that when I'm driving, like my mind goes on autopilot, and suddenly my brain like flicks back on, and I'm like, oh, how did I drive 20 miles and get here? I don't remember doing that, which is really freaky when it happens. But yeah, it's like your brain goes on autopilot listening to the songs, so you can get inspired in the background. Official soundtracks, though, there's one song from the first The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe movie that I will listen to, called The Battle. It's one of my favorite songs to listen to when I'm writing, because it's just an epic song. K-drama soundtracks, easily available, and you can set a vibe. Yes. Working on mood boards can help you develop your story and characters, though, because it's like what needs to be in this board and why. Yeah. What are the themes? What are the visuals? What is the atmosphere like? What in my head makes this story be this? No, that doesn't make sense. I'm not going to try and figure out a better way to say that. But yeah, you think of the images and you're like, this is what my story is. And then that can also then be put into the story that you're writing. Driving, going for a walk, cooking or baking with random recipes, all things I do when I need to work out plot and such. I do the same thing. That's dangerous with me though.
Why?
Because if I'm on a walk and I think of like a really cool line of dialogue or a really cool like description in my head and I come home to write it down, either I forget what it was or I try to write it down and it doesn't sound as good as it did in my head. I'm like, oh, well, that sucks.
Yeah, I get that.
They were such good thoughts. I'm terrible. So
Yeah.
So it's really good because it does like, oh yeah, so much fun and inspiration. But then I come to sit down and write it. It's like, no, but that's not quite the wording I think I had in my head. And I'm like, oh, well. It can work. It cannot work as well, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes I arrive to work without knowing how, or once I almost got to work with the kiddos on the back seat. Where we go. The amount of times I've just automatically driven somewhere I don't need to actually go to because I'm going down a specific road and my brain goes, right, I know this route. This is where we're going. It's not.
Yeah, that happened to my mom today. We were gonna go to the library today, and she was at some point she said, "Oh, I was driving to your school." Like, okay, well, they're in the same part of town, but like maybe 2 kilometers, 1 or 2 kilometers away from each other.
Yeah. ADHD just fills in the blanks. When I used to go on long walks, I'd use Google Docs on my phone to really quickly write down things like that. I did start doing that eventually. Eventually. The Lion, the Witch, and the fucking audacity of this. Oh, like that. Now I use ellipsis, but I still jot things down. What is ellipsis? As much as I really enjoy all these chats, I also don't enjoy them because it gives me too many new things to look at / try / research about. But it's okay. I can focus on the next stream with all of this in my head. Although, to be fair, I will say this chat has very, very much excited me to do a little bit of motivation for the next stream as well. So that is also chatting to other like-minded people about the creative process. Also very, very inspiring and motivational. So thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Ellipsis is it? Do I? You know what? Okay, I'll come back to that because that is actually one of the questions I have prepped for my stream at 3 p.m. EST. Yeah, so we'll talk more about that on my stream where I get all of your ideas for writing programs that I really shouldn't be trying, but we're going to anyway. Don't say pretty. Don't tell me that because I like making things look pretty. Damn it, author Jessica Berry, what have you done to me?
But pretty things motivate. At least for me, they're motivating.
Yeah, it's like if I can make it's why I got really into bullet journaling because I like the idea of making it pretty. Like that excited me because that's creativity. Damn it.
Yeah, I got into bullet journaling for the same reason around maybe 2017, 18.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing it.
See, as much as I loved making the bullet journals, I don't do enough stuff in my daily life to be like, to warrant actually using the bullet journal. So really, I had it, and I would, do the month by month and the week by week, and then I just wouldn't actually physically use it to actually like plan my day or schedule or whatever else I needed to use it for.
Nowadays,
like,
I usually use mine for to-do lists for the day. And I just write down every little thing, because the coloring in the box gives me so much dopamine that it gets me through the day.
See, don't entice me to bullet journal again.
Sorry.
Now I'm like, so what if I research a different way to bullet journal so I can keep doing the pretty, but also make it work for how I need it to? Don't. We're going to continually cut that off immediately. We're going to.
Okay.
Only because it is now like, I'm not going to time zone work it. It's now like 4 minutes to 5. So it's like 4 minutes to the next stream. So we should be wrapping up. We can talk more about that on later streams.
Maybe we should wrap up.
Yes. Sometimes I get very chatty. Doesn't help that I recently took my ADHD medication. So, there we go. So the next stream is stream 6.
Yeah.
And that is Shannon D. Hudson. In the description box below is not only a link to my fantastic co-host next to me, there is also a link to the playlist for the Storytellers Hearth Weekend Relay. If you are in that playlist, you'll automatically be taken to the next stream as the previous one finishes. So you don't need to go searching for the next host on YouTube. I'll ask you more about that later as well, Jessica. So thank you guys for joining us and for chatting with me and Annika today. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you have had your refill. I hope you've gotten some rest, some water, some food in preparation for the next stream. So do you want to do a quick outro, Annika?
I don't know what to say. I figured that out for the next stream. So yes. I'll do it then.
Guys, thank you. I'll see you in a few hours for my stream. I'll see you in the chat for Shannon's, which is up next. See you later, guys.
See you.
Bye.